Hey, good morning and welcome to Second Lap. This is Gramps, or Robbie, as my parents named me at birth. Today, I'm in Las Vegas and I'm not walking while doing the podcast. So we will see how this works. We'll see if my brain stays engaged and we'll do our best. 37,234 miles, just at 10 years, 6 months of tracking. About 234 miles from actually 234 miles so far in the month of January because I was at 37,000 roughly at the last day of the year. So today we are going to chat with the man responsible for keeping me sane and on task and on path and on all of the platforms that carry the podcast. So welcome on the show, Ronnie.
Hello, hello.
We're
I don't know
we're
about
still getting.
yeah, I was gonna say me being insane, keeping you sane. That's gonna be tricky.
Yeah. So welcome. I appreciate you doing this with us or with me today. Um, I'm not walking. We're going to try a different format, and it feels like it's feeling good. I wanted to just sort of catch up on where things are at, talk a little bit about what I did to prepare for, my trip. I think I've talked a little bit about it in my video a day for Ronnie, but making sure that since I am in Vegas for I guess it's 3.5 days, that all of the sort of supplementation and things that I've attempted to do to tune my life stay in progress, that I don't, leave town and all of a sudden all that stuff falls apart. So, wanted to talk through that. And I wanted to catch up with you on, you had I'm trying to think of all of the different, patches at the bottom of your feet to the cold plunge to the shit, all of the different things that you have sort of been throwing yourself at, just sort of catch up on where you're at with that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah. No.
welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. First, I want to check on you. How is your health? I think that's probably something a lot of our viewers are curious about, as well as I am with doing the heart tracker and all of that. Like, what have been some of the things that you've noticed? Have you had any checkups or anything? Not if that's something you did or didn't want to get into. I was just curious to know because I think that's something that we kind of left as a cliffhanger, and I'm curious as far as how is that going, and then I can at least get into some of my stuff.
Sure. I wore a heart monitor for 2 weeks straight. I had done a bunch of tests. I did the treadmill. I did an echocardiogram. I did a bunch of things. I couldn't see anything. A week into wearing the monitor, I had an episode. I was laying down and my heart rate went from 60 something to 140. And I got a call the next day and he said, "Hey, you have AFib. And there's a couple of different ways that we can take care of it. This is what we want to do." And he's like, "Here, I'm going to put you on a prescription." Snarkily, sarcastically, however you want to qualify my response, I said to the cardiologist, I said, "So I've had a single issue in 2 weeks and you want to put me on a pill twice a day for the rest of my life?" And he said, "Well, there's some other things we could do, but we want to try that first." I've been on the medication. I think I'm coming up on 3.5 weeks now. I have an appointment follow up with him on like February 4th, next week sometime. And I'm going to go in and see him. So far, I've noticed a couple things. My heart rate seems to be lower most of the time. So they've had me, he's had me using one of these blood pressure cuff things to take my blood pressure just to make sure that the medication they put me on didn't lower my blood pressure to a point that was unhealthy. It seems to be, my blood pressure is normal most of the time. From time to time, it does seem like it's a little higher. I'm working out in my hotel room as opposed to a gym. So I had a couple of scenarios this morning where it was elevated. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that or if it just has to do with the fact that I was doing a good amount of jumping jacks and push-ups at the time. But I feel good. I don't know that it's fixed the issue. I don't know if what I'm dealing with is going to be fixable through that. Meaning there is rather than going from this stage to continuing to add pharmaceuticals, even though I think that would keep Pfizer happy. I asked him, and what I was told, basically I said, hey, what would you do if it was you? And we seem to be similar in physique and similar in age. And, he's lived his life as well. And he said, hey, I would put you on this medication, which I did, and I would try it. And if for some reason we didn't see the results we expect, then I would refer you to one of my partners in practice, and we would talk about doing something called ablation, which is something that they go in through, similar to doing any heart work. They go in through, an area near the crotch or the lower leg. I don't know exactly what that area is called. And then there's another area. So they go in through two pieces, and they basically go in and they burn, cauterize part of your heart that's causing my heart to do this. What's actually happening is there's four chambers in your heart, and I'm not a doctor. I didn't play one on TV, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express. I'm at Caesar's Palace, but I'm going to attempt to explain. My four quadrants of my heart get out of rhythm for some reason, and I don't know if that's part of the heart has been hurt or dealt with, and so they go in and they will burn that part to cause it to stay in motion or stay in sync.
Hmm.
I'm
Would
not
that
going to
be,
see.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, would that be before or after an angiogram to kind of see what's going on versus just kind of going in and doing that? Because I know angioplasty, they go in and they like usually widen out the artery wall.
Yep.
I have not heard of this method before, but I guess like you're saying, it's almost like soldering different holes or something that might be there. Like, have they seen anything yet, or was that just kind of the result of like this blip or the AFib that typically shows up?
The way that they were able to diagnose my issue was through the monitor and being able to see. And he sent me a bunch of, it looks like a bunch of math graphs and charts, and you can see
Mhm.
how the quadrants, I believe, go out of sync, and there's a phase.
Hmm.
Once again, didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express, but I think I'm saying that correctly. The angioplasty, I was trying to think of that. So thank you. That's sort of the same kind of way that they get into the body. But I don't believe I have not had that done. And when I was talking to another person in the healthcare industry who was kind of talking about this, his comment was that they actually use some X-ray technology that's sort of a constant X-ray, so they can see as they're
Mhm.
going through and what they're doing. So I'm not fully, I'm not fully up to snuff, if you will, on what exactly it all comes together. I would tell you, without sneaking to the end of the movie, that I have had a situation in the past 3.5 weeks while under medication, where I have had a situation where my heart rate has come up. I don't know if it's the same thing. It has not been for as intense or for as long. And so I'm trying to just give it time. And then there are some aspects that he said with anxiety, if you're feeling anxious about something or you're getting stressed, that some of that will mimic some of the same heart rate things, which is why they made me wear the heart monitor. I keep touching. This is where the heart monitor was for 2 weeks. And my skin is just starting to feel normal again. But I feel good. I feel healthy. It hasn't affected any of the rest of my life. And as I said, my dad has this. He's been on medication for 20 years, and it seems like he's been pretty under control. So we'll see. Next week I'll go in and talk to him and explain and see if I have a couple of months maybe to wait and see how the medication goes. And it's electrical. Either there's other things that go along where I want to think logically, hey, I could go do this with my exercise that we're doing, going to the gym and doing it, exerting ourselves with weights and things like that. But as of right now, I feel good. I'm taking the medication as prescribed. The one, this is me trying to troubleshoot it, the one time that I am explaining that I did have a little bit of variation in my heart, I have been taking, so sneaking into the supplements, I have been taking oregano oil as a supplement, and oregano with black pepper. And those are known to kill bacteria as well as other, stuff in the body. And the one day that I had an issue, and I don't know that this has anything to do with it, but I took my medications together, and I took this new supplement
Mm.
I was taking at the exact same time. I had taken it in the morning the day before, but I took it at the same time. And so did that affect the medication that I was taking, and maybe kill off the I don't know. but these are all the things that I'm looking forward to talking to my doctor and seeing if I can, just make sure, because I want to be here forever. I don't want to go away, and I don't want to have something dumb happen because I'm just not paying attention to the signs. So
No, yeah, no, I appreciate. To me, I was just curious, and I'm sure I'm not the only one as far as whether it's precautions for myself or just kind of understanding like those situations. So I appreciate you sharing. And for me, I have the I made my own oregano oil. I have downstairs where it's like you mix the olive oil, you do the strain, and all that stuff. I think it's still down there. I was doing it for my head, so it was
okay,
more topical kind of instead of ingesting. So I definitely am. I'm there with you. At least now I've got rosemary oil in my hair right now that's been helping. At least I've had some psoriasis and some dry scalp issues that have been definitely helped by the oregano oil. So there you go.
that's
There's
great.
a sneak one in there. As far as the stuff that I've been doing, the cold plunge is completely frozen. I kind of decided, especially with this massive sub freezing, it just didn't seem smart to be jumping in water when it's like -3 out.
Right,
My plan is to kind of, when it comes above 30, just because they always say below 50 or 50-degree water is beneficial. Like that's kind of the
right,
optimal temperature. So I've been a little extreme. I think we talked about last time. It was partly like for shock value to get views and whatnot, just because I'm a
right.
marketer. So I've been doing different things. But I think smartly, we're gonna pick this back up probably once the weather, because I don't have it inside. I don't have one of those temperature controls. So I'm definitely going to wait until it's thawed out a little bit and just is still cold. It's still gonna be, I think for me, what was funny, I think I tried it in the summer once and the temperature was like 60 degrees. And to me, that was way worse than going in like in these winter months. For some
Wow.
reason, with like my body temperature couldn't handle it. And I went in and I jumped right out. I was like, nope, not happening. So it's interesting of how the body, like we've talked about before, I can go out in the cold shirtless and it's like, okay, let me get in the water. It feels nicer versus being in 80s and then you jumping in that water and I was just shivering away and couldn't stop.
Right.
So it's
I-
weird how that works. As far as the foot pads, I've been sporadic with those. Definitely still seeing some stuff. Somebody posted like it is a joke, like, and I was like, sure. I think there is something to it. Our feet absorb a lot of different things. I can't say that I feel totally better because of the foot pads or the stuff that like the next day I don't wake up like, oh, what a great day.
Right.
Like feel so much better. But I think there's something to it when I remember, and it's a big thing for me, whether it's alcohol or other things that are around, food, candy, out of sight, out of mind. To me, it's in my drawer, and unless I open the drawer, I'm like, oh yeah, those are there. So that's a big part of it too, is I just forget. Like it's not in front of me, so I don't see it. And so that's
Right.
at least I've noticed it with the candy and stuff that I used to just chow down on. If I don't see it in front of me, there's less likelihood of me having it. And that's why I've got a giant pineapple, my grapefruit, like my whole fruit corner is like, I see that stuff, I go grab an
Right.
orange and have that instead. So if I need that sweet fix, so that's definitely been like a change as far as, at least with my weight, has been maintaining within 178 to 180. It really hasn't fluctuated. I think that's maybe associated just with trying to be consistent with the same foods that I'm eating and not completely overeating at dinner, which is kind of
Sure.
my flex meal more or less, just because I have everybody else to feed and making sure that we do it at the same time. I've been consistent with my New Year's resolution, or my daily goal this year was to, aside from my walks around the neighborhood, was to do a mile a day on the treadmill downstairs. And thankfully, I've got the little iFit. It kind of keeps me up on the year to date. I'm at 30 point something miles today on the 28th. So I'm ahead of schedule as far as keeping that up. And that's been something, at least for me, has been like a rock or something steady that I'm like, I got to keep
Right.
doing this for whatever reason. Like walking a mile's 20 minutes. If I want to run two, that's not 14, like 17 minutes. And so it's not something that takes a lot of time.
Right.
Today I took it off. Today's the first day in a while. I've been exhausted from a bunch of different things. It was like, let's just take a break. Your body's trying to tell you something. We can pick back up tomorrow. And so that's just for me, it's like I got to listen as much as I want to push myself. I think there's different things where it's like, I don't want to go 5, 6, 7 days in a row because I feel tired. I think it's, hey, let's maintain, let's do a walk. That's not going to put you over the edge, and keep it at like the 3.2 versus 4 on the speed chart that it does for you. But so yeah, and then trying to do the weights. I bought a bunch, so I now have 10, 15, 20, 25 like dumbbells down there.
Dumbbells, right?
And I at least try to do a set of something, whether it's just arm curls, like shoulder lifts, and trying to maintain doing some push-ups. I try to get to 50, and then I usually think like I'll do 50 more later, and then I forget. So like it's just staying on top of that. Like in my head, I'm like, I want to do 100, but I'm trying to do them all at once. And so it's usually just rip out 50, and I forget who it is. Somebody says, I think it's Jesse Itzler, when he was talking to Goggins about when you set that goal, it's like if I was to tell myself, all right, we're doing 75, chances are I would do 50, because you usually only do like 40% of what that would be 60, but your brain, for whatever reason, wants to time out like halfway through your goal, and then you got to force it to go further. So if I say I'm going to do 50, then it's 40, and then I take a break and I do the last 10. So there's always like that pushing and pulling with your brain as far as like, hey, you're going to do what I tell you to do, and we're going to do this now, versus like just kind of like, all right, that's enough, and then move on.
We're the loudest voice in our own head.
Yeah.
And we can lie to ourselves, and we're going to believe ourselves. So what I'm saying there is, when I go to do mine, I actually will go and I will do, if I'm going to do 30 push-ups or I'm going to do 40 push-ups, I will do them in sets of 10, and I will start over at 1 every 10. So my body keeps thinking I'm just doing 10 push-ups. Yet at the end of the 30 seconds or whatever it is, I'm at 40 push-ups. And it's like that last one, I was doing it this morning. I'm looking at the towel on the floor of the hotel room where I was doing my push-ups. I'm lying to myself. Like, I'm literally on number 39 and I'm saying 9. And then I'm like 40, because I'm like 1, 2, 3, 10, 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 40. And my body's like, what? Did you just lie to me? So I hear you, and we are the loudest voice in our head. I want to go back to the pads. You started to talk about, and you did give me all of your updates, and I appreciate that, but I wanted to do a little bit more inspection. Do the pads change? Meaning, are they exactly the same output every time you take them off your feet?
No. The last time there was something, like usually it's brown for the most part, like it brown, or like a dark brown, almost black. The last time on one of the foots, it was white. Like there was white little squiggly lines on it. And so to me, I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm like, was it possibly like an air gap for whatever reason? But it didn't look like the pad. It looked like there was black and then something white on top
over the top of it. Wow.
I don't know if it was like worms or what, but it was so string like and just interesting. So, but it was like super small, but it was probably like a dime size and like the pad itself is probably like the size of a gift card or credit card. And so it was like one of maybe a little bit smaller than this gold piece was just like a white little speck. And so that was and it was only on one of the feet. So that's where I was like, that's weird, but which then leads me to think like it's doing something, like regardless if people think that it's a joke or that it's like a scam or whatever it might be. It's like, well, you probably haven't tried it and like actually seen different things. Like it's not the same every time. So yeah, I think the other thing, sometimes it's not the full piece. This is my son's McDonald's gift card. Sometimes it'll only be like 3/4 of the pad is covered. And so like, that's where I'm like, okay, so maybe that other part of the foot didn't have anything. So there's been some variations with what I've seen. But yeah, the white stuff was the biggest or stark, like, I wonder what that is. Like it's where you wish you had like a microbiologist that I could be like, hey, look at this and see what this is and give me some results back. But I don't have one of those on speed dial.
AI is coming. You'll have one as an agentic agent on your
just take a photo of it
or something. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. I do appreciate what you said earlier about listening to your body and taking a break today. That's smart. I do struggle at times with, back to, you'll lie to yourself. I struggle with, am I actually feeling this way, or is my body trying to tell? So I don't know.
It's a struggle, honestly. Like you said, I think it's mentally, I didn't want to push through the resistance today. And and we talked about pre-show of just like the chaos and different things with work and whatnot. And it was just like, I just need this moment for myself. And it's no different, like whether it's someone comes home and needs to turn on a show that's relaxing versus like doing work. And so that's, at least in my mind, it's like, today we're just going to take a break. We're going to have coffee, sit with my son and chat with him today versus just going downstairs and doing that. As much as I like seeing him watch me do stuff so that we can instill that this is important. Like doing physical activity is something that helps dads stay alive, stay healthy, stay fit. That sometimes there is a time that I just need to take a break and relax a little bit. I don't want to get too Christian on you, but it's like seventh day of rest. There is that point where it's said, like, you need to take this day. You work for 6 days, have a moment to rest. And whether it's every 6, every 36, whatever it is, I think there is that point where you need to have some sort of like, okay, let me just take a minute and not be full gas every single day at every moment.
You'll burn yourself out. No, it's good. I'm glad that you're doing it. And at the end of the day, it's good for our kids to see us, take that time or not feel like we have to like run into the wall. So that's good. You brought up business ownership. I don't know that we've gone deep. I'm trying to remember how deep we've talked about it. You did buy into a business and have taken on that role. And I believe, as we've talked, the role of communicator, face of the business. I don't know how you would qualify it. When somebody
a lot more of, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the customer, and I'm a sales guy. I've been in that sort of position forever. And, the customer is always right. And if there's a rule number 2, it's, if there's any question, always go back to rule number 1. And I understand that. And most customers just want to be heard, and they just want to be told that there's somebody there, and they just want all of those sort of pieces. I know we were, as you said, pre-show talking about that, and that sort of being the impetus of taking a rest day. Are you finding that you're spending a lot of time just comforting people? What is it that's sort of the majority of the time, or is it a bunch of stuff?
I think it's a bunch of stuff. I don't think, like, our clients are smart. I think they're savvy. I think the thing, especially talking to my business partner earlier, is that they're on their schedule and they want things when they want them. And that's totally reasonable. It's just a matter of, there's some days or weeks where they're all asking for different things needed immediately. And so that's the overwhelming part from, let's say, I keep wanting to say 5 years ago. Now, well, granted, I think it is 5 to 6 years ago. I was just a warehouse guy, cutting window film, boxing it up, putting the label on it and shipping it. And now I'm working with those same clients from then, just because it's the same industry. Now I'm managing their AdWords. I'm helping assist with different pieces of their website, their social media. And so especially this past year has been a struggle for a lot of business owners and companies in general, just because the economy and consumer confidence is lower, just dealing with everything that's out there. So and especially at the beginning of the year, everybody's looking at what they're spending their money on and wants to understand it a little bit more. Like, is this worth what I'm paying? Like, what should I be doing? What should I be looking for? And so with this year being the front person for the business on a lot of that versus kind of being an owner, but still in the passenger seat, more or less. Now I'm the
Right.
one driving it. I just am dealing with many more questions and problems and inquiries. And it's just, how do I find the time to make sure that everybody is satisfied with the answers I'm giving, the time frame that I'm responding, and so just all of that is new to me. I think
Okay.
I tried to avoid the word overwhelming when we talked earlier, but this is what I knew was coming. So it's more of like, how do I evolve into this new person? Like we said, it's I'm at a new level, just like a video game. It's the
Right.
bosses don't get easier. There's going to be the levels get harder as you go up, and that's just a part of the game. I'm not here to cry about it. Like, this is what I've asked for. This is what I want. It's
Right.
just my body is being like, what are you doing? Like, this is all new. And so
Right. Right.
that's where I think just trying to get a hold of it and calm it and that's where I think we've talked a lot about, like you said earlier, like the self-talk or just the whether it's the biggest critic or whatever it's in your mind, as far as like, I got to make sure I'm staying positive and making sure that dealing with harder times, that I'm not sitting there like, oh, like, you dummy, you dumbass, like, why did you make this mistake, or why'd you forget? It's
Right.
like, no, this is a part of the learning growth of doing something new. And as I tell my son, like, my job is to help him with his mistakes, but not do the work for him. And it's the same thing for me. Like, I can't sit there and reach out and be like, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix this? It's like, no, I've got to figure out, clean this mess up, or just deal with these different things that are new to me and find out what works best to kind of push through that. And I'm not perfect. And I think that's the biggest thing to remind yourself, is that nothing's going to be perfect. There's no
Right.
perfect day. It's, am I going to be happy at the end of the day? Am I going to have positive energy to still give to everyone when
Right.
they might be dealing with harder days? And I think that's all in my mind, as far as like just being like, look, we're going to figure this out. It might be stressful. You might not. I've got my notebook, and yesterday it's
Right.
like everything I was dealing with, I never actually got to the stuff I intended to do. And so it's like giving yourself that grace of being like, all right, that's fine. You didn't check the boxes off today, but you still
Right.
were moving towards that goal. And that's a learning thing. That's not something that you all of a sudden get. This
Sure.
is growth, I think, as far as I keep telling myself of getting to that next step.
Is it something that you can set aside time for and block out, or because of, as you said earlier, the customer always wants what they want when they want it, you're more on their time and more reactive and just having to answer the phone? I mean, is it something that you could block out time and make it more controllable?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's like I give myself the mornings before I walk my son to school is like, that's my workout time, walk time, like, and then I have my breakfast. That's like, all right, that
Right.
is kind of blocked off. That's for me.
Yep.
But when I have things kind of lined up, aside from particular calls that are scheduled, I'll try to fit stuff in. But I think even with posting this podcast and doing clips and trying to keep up with the different posts and stuff, that's where it's like, what gets the priority of different things. Yes, when
Right.
like the part, like when my co-owner calls or when a client calls, those things kind of jump up. And then that's where you're after bedtime, after he goes to sleep, or after I've done dinner, I have to find these windows to kind of still do those other things that I feel like this will help me not feel even more behind tomorrow. But
Right.
again, it's not staying up till 1, 2 in the morning and then trying to get up at 6 and be burnt out. It's
Right.
all right, it's 11 o'clock, or at least for me, it's like 9:30. I'm putting on Taskmaster and trying to, at least for my same, get sane in that way of like, let me
Right.
laugh a little bit. Let me get something good so that I can go to sleep and not be going to sleep, whether it's watching doom and gloom as I doom scroll, or sit there and
Right.
I'm panicked about different things. I want to put myself in a good headspace when I go to sleep so that I'm relaxed and calm while I'm sleeping versus like fighting these demons or whatever it
Sure.
might be while I'm sleeping and thinking of all of the stressful things as I fall asleep. Like, to me, that's important too, to not be overdoing it. And I think sleep's the most important thing for me being a functional human to be able to handle all of those things. So setting those boundaries, I think, is important, especially after listening to Ryan and a lot of the other experts that you have that are on those particular topics. And that's been a benefit to me, has been watching all of your conversations and thinking like, oh yeah, I probably should worry or focus on this type of thing, or make sure that my sleep is as good. And I'm lucky, I fall asleep, I'm dead to the world. Every night I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I'm not a light sleeper. So as long as I'm going to sleep at a decent time before 11:30, I think gives me that 5 to 6 hours that I should be getting, versus trying to run on 2 or 3 hours of sleep. It's like, I'm not the president. I'm not some
Right.
giant CEO. It's like, I'm sure Gary Vee gets decent amount of sleep, even if it looks like he's running around doing everything. I think there are things that are important to make sure that you're functional, and versus just trying to be productive. Like, that's, I think, a big distinction that many people don't make.
Yes, and I think Dr. Matt Walker, he wrote a great book on sleeping, and some of the things that they talk about are that if you are lacking the rest from a good night's sleep, that you're as good as a drunk driver. Like, literally, that's what they equate it to. So
I
if you
feel like
get,
that sometimes when I don't.
yeah, well, yeah, I was gonna say me too, and I'm 10 years sober, but I can still feel like when I flew home from India, no sleep and my body's all off, or when I came back from my trip to Portugal, Lisbon, same kind of thing. You just feel like, you almost feel like you're watching your body, maybe while still in it, but you're not actually fully in control. You're
You're
not
the
able to
puppeteer.
be, yeah, you're a puppet, and you're not able to, for me, you're not able to think clearly. And so to be a business owner, to be somebody that's got to be, Johnny on the spot, I know, or not know, I'm very empathetic to what you're saying about, hey, I just need to get my rest, I just need to get my sleep, and if I get that, I'll be able to be good on my feet. I'll be able to be good in the moment, and I don't have to stress out about it because I'll be able to think myself through versus just trying to get the task done. So,
Yeah. No, for sure. I think, and my wife always on the weekends is, do you have any work to do? It's like, my brain says yes. There's always work to do. There's always something to do. But I think having the boundaries, and I think there's a lot of times we might want to do too much of that, of like this, as soon as I get home, I'm done. Like, and that's, at least for me, I'm thankful that I didn't have that when I was working the warehouse job. I was working 40 hours a week, but I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life. So I wanted to make sure that I was putting in a little extra time after the fact to do the stuff that I wanted to do some video editing, do different things that I knew maybe if somebody catches on or sees this, and thankfully they did. But then, like, obviously with doing more of that, then it's like, all right, now I'm doing 70-hour weeks, and what's important here. And that's when you got to make that distinction of, and one of the hardest things to do is to be like, all right, I'm taking the leap. I'm going to leave this comfort job to know that this paycheck's coming in every time,
right.
versus like, all right, let me leap over to this and have faith that this is going to work, when you have no guarantees as far as business ownership, or that your side hustle is going to pay for everything else. So that
Death and
was
taxes,
tricky
my
and hard.
friend.
Yeah.
Death and taxes are the only guarantee. And I think I've
Yeah.
actually been proven that if you're willing to evade the bureaucracy in government, that you don't even have to pay taxes. That death is really the only thing that is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm trying. I want to be conscious of your time. I've got to get back to my sales kickoff. We had a break that I sort of worked this over. I am in Vegas, so I did want to plug that I'm doing the Green Valley window tint Green Valley Windowton, all one word, podcast. That's also their Instagram call sign. I was trying to think of what I was trying to say. Name. The Millers. Josh
Yep.
has been on this podcast with me before. I'll get a chance to meet Ricky, his brother, and I believe the one that's actually won more competitions. So I got to make sure
They won together this past time at Tinder
But
Battle.
they won together. Yeah. But they won together. He did a video the other day where he's like, if the Millers are in a competition, there's a 75% chance we're going to win.
Yeah.
And then he went through and he talked about it. And then his thing was, and we won the I want to keep wanting to call it the couples competition, but they won the paired group. Yeah, I don't want to call it the
either
couples. They won the paired
architectural
group.
or the flat glass, I believe, is what they won in. I could be wrong.
Yes.
I wasn't there, but I feel like it was non-automotive. They both were on the autos ones, and I think they showed a video of one of them being frustrated about one of the edges
Ricky.
and having to redo it a bunch. So
Yep.
I know that they've always been awesome at architectural and flat glass installations. So that's where I'm confident to say that it was one of those two that they won together.
And they did, and I guess I'm plugging here, they did release or announce that they were going to have a school that they have here to help you to grow your business and learn how to do it and to do more. I think it is focused on flat glass. So don't want to give too much away. Please go check out their stuff. And I will be on their podcast in person here in Vegas on Friday. So I will share that with the group once it's posted as well. So wanted to plug that. And trying to look at my notes. Oh, and you have done a fantastic job of running the Second Lap Instagram. And I have, seen, I don't know if your feed is full of it now. I'm getting feeds of all of the people that, you've kind of clicked on or reposted. And one of them she has talked about her consistency, and she has her days of, hey, I've walked this many days in a row. And I don't know if you know the call sign. We can put it in the show notes later, but it's like a bunch of words with little underscores in between. So I see it every time. I get excited because when she puts up her dates in a row, I always go back and I ask Siri, how many days ago was July 24th, 2015? Because I've been walking pretty much every day since then. I mean, there's very few days other than being down with the flu or whatever that I've missed. And I'm at 3,841 days of walking. And I would tell you, it just reiterates it reiterates my identity as a walker.
No, I get inspired finding all of those stuff. I think seeing the people who are 60, 70 that they decided to finally start is, I think, a big eye opener to anybody who's in their 30s and 40s and you think it's over. Like, this is
Right.
it. It's not. Like, you can start at any point and make a huge difference. I think there's been plenty of people in their mid 50s, 60s, whether they're overweight, like they're dealing with some sort of health issue,
Right.
and they finally decided to be consistent about whether it's walking, running, lifting, stretching, whatever it might be. It's, if you're consistent, whether it's posting a BDR every day or just going for a walk or reading a book or playing piano, if you are consistently doing something every day and putting, even if it's 5-10 minutes aside to just focus on that intently, like, that's going to compound itself. And that if there's anything that I'm hoping to, as I flood everybody's stories and reposts with all the stuff that I find on Second Lap, like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, you're not too late. Like, you can start today. You can, as much as I don't want to say, you could start tomorrow, but make the effort, be consistent. You're going to suck. You're going to make mistakes. I think that's the biggest thing for people, is that it's not going to be perfect. As long as you are willing to try, you're doing better than the version of you that's sitting on the couch doing nothing. Like, it's just a matter of having that effort to push yourself. Like you said at the beginning, it's all in your head as far as you thinking, like, I can't do that. Like, I can't cook a 3-course meal if I've only been microwaving meals. It's like, you go research, find something, try it, fail. And that's one of the things I'd like, try, fail, repeat. Like, that's the only way that you're going to get better at anything. And that's the one thing I hope I share with my son. It's like, make that mistake, because then you'll learn what to do next time. Like, that's the whole point of trying. And so, yeah, I'm inspired by finding everything. I just hope maybe 1 or 2 people a day, a week, a month sees it and is like, okay, we're going to try to do this. And it's funny with my consistent posting of doing my walks and stuff, I'm starting to see a lot more of my friends. And again, it's not because of me, it's because of their intent to do something consistently. But I think it's awesome. Anybody that's trying, and instead of just ignoring the fact or the thought in their head of saying like, hey, let's go try this. Let's do this. This might be fun. It's like, it will be if you try. And that's all that I hope for.
I despise the word perfect. Everybody wants to do this thing and they want to call it perfect and they want to do things without mistakes. And to be human is to make mistakes. That's what we are. And like I said, I like what you said. Just do it. And I also don't want to say do it tomorrow. At the same time, I think Nike will get mad at me if I don't qualify that Nike said this first. Just do it. Like literally just do it and get your ass in gear. I believe if you do something like we do, where you're involving other people from an accountability perspective, that it will up your, odds and ante to do better and to be more consistent. But no,
also
it inspires me as well.
Yeah, but also don't feel that pressure. And again, you're not competing. You're not trying to keep up with me or you or anybody that we post. It's only the person who you were yesterday. That is the only person that you are competing against, is the version of you that didn't do this yesterday or this morning or last hour. That's the only person that you should be comparing yourself with. Like, it's pointless, absolutely pointless to be comparing yourself with any model that could be an AI that you're seeing. Anyone that you're seeing on social it's a joke if you think you're trying to keep up with them. It's only yourself, and you're the only one that knows what you did or didn't do yesterday. So stop trying to compare yourself to anybody else. Anything that we post is inspiration, not to be comparison. Like, I think that's the biggest part of this is it's just be better than who you were. Take care of your future self, lift a few weights. Your 80-year-old version of you is going to be super thankful that it can get up from the floor, that it didn't fall and break a hip. That's the only thing that you should be worried about, is taking care of yourself to be around more for those other people that maybe depend on you and or look up to you, whatever it might be. That is the only thing that you should be focused on, is just taking care of yourself versus trying to compare yourself.
On that note, I think we're gonna sign off, but I do believe those words. Stop comparing and just work to be consistent and focus on being just a little bit better than you were yesterday. I tag mine daily incremental improvement, just a little bit.
Yep.
So thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time, and I'll let you sign off.
Thank you for being with us today. Anybody that's watching us while streaming, please go check us out on YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're anywhere you could be seeking out information, we're now there. So thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.